In this video, we're going to use the distributive property to write an equation, and then we'll solve that equation with two different methods. Alright, so here's the story. Four friends are going to the movies, and each one pays $12 for a ticket, and each one also buys a small popcorn. Right? So the total cost, so that's for the four friends, the total cost was $76. And we're going to let P represent the cost of a small popcorn. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write an equation to represent the total cost of this. It'll represent the situation. So we'll write an expression for the total cost, and then we'll write that that's equal to $76. All right, so let's think about each friend here. Each friend, first of all, pays $12 for the ticket. And then they pay for the small popcorn, which we're representing with P. So they paid 12 plus P dollars. So that's for each person. And there's four friends altogether. So altogether, they pay 4 times that. Right? And so that's the total cost, which we know is $76. All right. So that's just one way to represent the equation. There's another way that some people might do naturally, which will show up as we solve this here. So now we'll solve this, because we'd like to know what was the price of the popcorn. Right? So that's what we're doing when we're solving this equation. So method 1. We're going to copy 4 times 12 plus P equals 76. So method 1 is to use the distributive property here, and we'll do 4 times 12 and 4 times P. So we've got 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times P is 4P, and that is equal to 76. So some people, if you ask them to write an expression for the total cost, they would almost write this automatically. They'd think, well, for the tickets, 4 friends paid $12 each, so that's 48. And for the popcorn, it's 4 times P, so that's 76. Right? So you may have been thinking something more along these lines originally. So these are exactly equivalent. All right, now we have 48 plus 4P is 76. So let's subtract 48 from both sides. So first of all, I'll copy what I have. And then I'll use another color to subtract 48. So on the left side, we've got 48, and we're subtracting 48, so that's 0. So all we're left with is 4P. And on the right side, let's see, if it was 76 and we were subtracting 50, we'd be down to 26. But we're not quite subtracting 50, we're only subtracting 48, so it's a 28. Okay. And what this tells us, if we think back to the problem, is that the cost of 4 popcorns is $28. Now to write we want to write a real nice algebraic solution here. So we'll again copy the equation, and we'll show that we're going to divide both sides by 4. So that tells us that P, the cost of the popcorn, 28 divided by 4 is $7. The popcorn costs $7. Now I'd like to show you another way of solving this equation, which I slightly prefer, but I think it's just a matter of personal preference. So here's what we're going to do. So 4, again I'm going to copy the equation, times 12 plus P equals 76. So what some people might like to do, instead of sort of thinking of the total cost of the popcorn and the total cost of the movies, some people might like to first say, well, how much was it for one person? If we know that all together the total cost was $76, how much was the total cost for just one of the friends? So here's what this would look like in terms of our equation here. I'm going to copy the equation first. What these people would do is say, well, let's divide the total cost by 4. And let's divide this is also the total cost, let's divide that by 4. So instead of having the cost for 4 friends, if we divide it by 4, we'll just have the cost for one friend, which would be 12 plus p. And that, I know that 80 divided by 4 is 20, so 76 divided by 4 is 19. All right, if you're a little bit confused about how this is equal to this, I'll put a link on the screen now to another video that shows you a picture of that with algebra tiles too. All right, so we'll continue here. 12 plus p, I'd like to isolate p. So first I'll copy the equation. And now I'll subtract 12 from both sides. So on the left we have p, and on the right we have 7. So that is exactly what we got before. The cost of the popcorn is $7. And I just think that this sort of real life situation can help us understand in a different way how both of these methods are valid. You could really be thinking about totals and separate the cost of the movie and the cost of the popcorn. Or you might want to just think about how much it is for one person. So here we're dividing everything by 4 and then solving. And here we use the distributive property to multiply out, and then we solved. All right, I hope that was helpful. Good luck with it.